Hi, I'm Joanne Murko, a museum educator at Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art, and this is Bridging the Gap, a series of digital art engagements. In this four-part video series, we will be looking at Valley of the Catawissa in Autumn by Thomas Moran. It will be helpful to have paper and something to write with to respond to the prompts in the video. Please pause the video to collect what you need. Before we get started discussing this work of art, let's take a few moments to look closely at it. Start by letting your eyes wander around the work of art, taking notice of some of the details, such as the colors the artist is using in objects you recognize in the painting. Please pause the video to give yourself a few moments to look. This video is the second of a four-part video series where we are exploring Thomas Moran's Valley of the Catawissa by using Edmund Feldman's four-step art critique. You will recall in the previous video we simply described what we saw. This next step is called Analyze, and it is the heavy hitter of the process. Since there is so much to unpack, we have decided to break it into two separate videos. In this first video, we're going to focus on the elements of art. So put on your thinking caps and make sure to have your paper and writing instrument of choice to write down your observations. Let's get started. Step 2, Analyze. In this step, we're going to figure out how this work is organized. In other words, how did Moran compose this painting, and what tools or devices did he use? Let's think of it in terms of building a house. We'll start by using our virtual toolkit. In this kit, we will find the tools called the elements of art. They are line, color, texture, form, shape, and space. So let's define these tools and see how Moran may have used them in this artwork. Line. A line is a path of a point moving through space. It can be broken or solid. Take a moment and look how Moran has used lines throughout the painting. The slopes of the mountains, the sides of the hills, and the ferns in the foregrounds are just a few to mention. So can you see any more? It's safe to say there are lines everywhere, and they all lead your eye somewhere. Line is the secret weapon of the toolkit. Next is color. Color is the power tool in our toolkit. Color has three properties. They are hue, value, and intensity. Hue is the name of the color, such as yellow or red. Value is measurement of lightness or darkness. For example, light blue or dark blue. Intensity is measured by boldness or the dullness of a color. Let's look at the colors Moran has used. Can you name them? And if so, what are their value and intensity? If you take a moment to look, you will see that Moran has used the same colors, but with different values and intensities. Here's a fun fact about colors. Cool colors recede and warm colors advance, meaning objects in cool colors will appear to be moving away from you, and objects in warm colors will appear to be moving towards you. Moran has used cool colors on the mountains in the background to create more of a recession, and warm colors of the autumn trees in the middle ground to pop out at you. But you will notice that in the foreground, he used neutral contrasting colors to anchor you. He was quite clever, wasn't he? Texture is how something feels to the touch or may appear to feel by touch. In the painting, you will see the jaggedness of the rocks in the foreground, the sponginess of the trees in the middle ground, and the smoothness of the blue mountains in the background. What other textures can you pick out? List the objects and how you think they may feel to the touch. Form and shape. Since form and shape are so closely related, we're going to combine them for this video. What kind of shapes and forms do you see? Are they circular or angular? Do you see shapes such as triangles or rectangles? Give yourself a moment to look, and don't forget to look up at the clouds as well. Space. Space is a bit more complicated since it involves a variety of techniques. Some techniques involve overlapping, foreshortening, and perspective. Foreshortening is the distortion of size relations according to perspective. Perspective is how objects appear smaller as they go back further in distance. Just take a look to see how Moran has used the overlapping of objects such as the trees and the mountains, and the relative size of these objects the further they go back in the painting. That was a lot of information. In this video, we covered the elements of art, and in our next video, we'll go over the principles of design as we continue exploring the second step of analyze. See you next time. Thank you for watching. This has been Bridging the Gap from Crystal Bridges.